Urgent, Raiders fan! Look at what just happened. Nobody saw this coming, huh? But first, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we bring you daily videos with the latest your team news, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. 3 offensive tackles Raiders should target to replace Kolton Miller in NFL Draft Las Vegas may need a contingency plan for their starting left tackle. While offensive tackle was not an immediate need last week for the Las Vegas Raiders, many felt that the team would add more competition at the position in the NFL Draft. However, things can change rapidly in the NFL as starting left tackle. Kolton Miller is now seeking a new long-term deal. Ultimately, the Raiders will likely extend Miller for a few years amidst his contract situation and renegotiate so that there is guaranteed money. But drafting an heir apparent may be more important than originally thought. Reports have indicated that the Raiders could be interested in Missouri right tackle Armand Membou with the number 6 pick, but they have also brought in LSU left tackle Will Campbell for a top 30 visit as well. If the Raiders do not view either as the best player available in the first round, however, there is some talent later in the draft that has the potential to become a franchise cornerstone at left tackle. 3 offensive tackles Raiders should target. To replace Kolton Miller in NFL draft Charles Grant, William Mary Grant is the highest-rated player on the following list, and in the right situation, he could become the best tackle in the draft class. He played at a smaller college, William Mary, so he will need to refine his technique if he wants to acclimate to better competition. Grant is also coming off an injury, but he is 6'5" and 301 pounds with nearly 35-inch arms and rare athleticism for the position. He could be a gem in the 3rd round, as he is a natural knee bender with an elite kick slide in pass protection and a nasty demeanor as a run blocker. Grant would be a perfect fit for the Raiders and a strong eventual replacement for Miller. Miles Hinton, Michigan Hinton, certainly passes the eye test as he stands at 6'7" and a lean but strong 323 pounds. He is also an impressive athlete with more experience at left tackle than other developmental prospects and has the proper attitude to play offensive line in the NFL. He could become a great player in the NFL if he could learn the technical side of the position from Miller. While he does not have a lot of buzz right now, he could be an excellent pick in the 5th or 6th round. Related Raiders fans are panicking after latest Kolton Miller bombshell Caleb Etienne. BYU Etienne is another developmental prospect, as the big, fluid athlete can sometimes lack aggression or lean forward into contact. He seems to overthink the game at times, but he is a knee bender who showcased some dominant reps at BYU, especially in space. It is possible that his lack of aggression was coached into him, as he commonly looked to make contact with and affect as many players as possible. One important note is that he went through a private workout with the Raiders, so if the coaching staff is confident that they can unlock his potential, he may be a slam dunk prospect in the 6th or 7th round. Pausing this news just to say that if you want YouTube to keep recommending the latest Raider Nation news to you, it's very important that you leave a like on this video. Thanks. Now let's get back to the news. Insider drops surprising intel on Raiders trading. Former first-round pick new Las Vegas Raiders head coach Pete Carroll and general manager John Spytek have been willing to move off players from the previous regime. It's clear that returning players, not named Max Crosby, aren't secure in their positions. Defensive end Tyree Wilson was the number 7 pick in the 2023 draft under Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler. He was always going to be a project due to his leaving college with injury issues. However, he didn't take much of a leap in year 2 and has only started in 4 games despite the Raiders having serious health issues across the defensive line last season. Wilson's 8-0 sacks in 2 seasons aren't terrible, but he hasn't come close to living up to his status as a top 10 pick, especially considering the Raiders passed on star defensive tackle Jalen Carter to take him. What's also working against Wilson is that very few of the decision-makers who drafted him are still in the building. ESPN's Adam Schefter recently put together a list of players who could be expendable ahead of the NFL draft, and Wilson was on the list. Why trade Wilson? Now, there's no chance the Raiders would be able to get close to the value they used to acquire Wilson back if they traded him. They'd be fortunate to get more than a 4th-round pick for him at this point. That's why. It wouldn't make much sense to trade him now. Wilson still has big-time potential. He's got elite size and is a great athlete. He showed flashes of improvement last season. Defensive coordinator Patrick Graham is returning, and he should know Wilson as well as anybody. If the Raiders traded the defensive end, it would likely signal that Graham has little faith in his ability to get better. For now, it would make more sense to keep Wilson and see if he can continue to improve. At worst, he provides depth at one of the most important positions on defense. Who could be a fit for Wilson? The only way the Raiders would likely consider trading Wilson is if they get an appealing offer. Pro Football Network believes the Tennessee Titans, New England Patriots, and Philadelphia Eagles would all be fits for the former first-round pick. That leaves players like Tyree Wilson as clear. Trade possibilities, PFN wrote. Wilson still has 2 years left on his rookie deal, but he hasn't made much progress since being drafted number 7 overall in 2023. He has 8 sacks in 2 years and couldn't take advantage of numerous injuries at edge rusher in 2024 to earn a larger role. After playing 28 snaps per game as a rookie, that only crawled up to 31 snaps per game last year. Ziegler was the Raiders GM when Wilson was drafted, and he's now the Titans assistant GM, and Tennessee certainly needs more edge rusher help. Similarly, his first head coach was Josh McDaniels, who is back in New England for a third stint with a Patriots team that has needs almost everywhere. The Eagles don't have a coaching connection to Wilson, but have a habit of taking flyers on. High draft picks who busted elsewhere and wouldn't need Wilson to play a major role if he doesn't hit. Ohio State's projected $1 million star QB more ready to be named. New starting quarterback, the Ohio State Buckeyes have 3 quarterbacks fighting for the role of QB1 opened up after the departure of Will Howard. The team's star signal caller is expecting a 5th-round draft to the Las Vegas Raiders in the NFL, but one among the probable QB1 trio seems to hold an advantage. Julian Sayin, a highly touted quarterback who transferred from Alabama, has quickly made his mark at Ohio State. His performance in the recent spring game has positioned him ahead of Tavian St. Clair and Lincoln Kienholz. In the scrimmage, the $1 million star completed 17 of 24 passes for 175 yards and a touchdown, demonstrating more command of the game over his peers. Like Stockton at Georgia and Carr at Notre Dame, Sayin hasn't been named Ohio State's starter yet. But the one-time Alabama signee who reopened his recruitment after Nick Saban retired is the presumed favorite to win the job over sophomore Lincoln Kienholz. Andy Staples of On3 wrote April 21st, Sayin looked more ready for the role in Ohio State's spring game. Like Georgia, Ohio State probably could have enticed an entrenched starter away from another school. But after winning a national title during Kansas State transfer Will Howard's one-season stay, Ryan Day seems to have faith in the QBs he brought in from high school. He added, Sayin enrolled for the team in January 2024. He ranked number 2 among quarterbacks in his 2024 recruiting class and was number 8 overall per On3. Raiders rumors, watch out for trade up to get Shedeur Sanders. How could the Raiders land Shedeur Sanders? With all of the speculation around the NFL draft, the Las Vegas Raiders have been a sneaky name to land Shedeur Sanders. Despite them signing Geno Smith in the offseason, if the chance presents itself, they might make a move. ESPN NFL Draft Insider Ben Solak explained why Las Vegas is a team to watch throughout this process. The team to watch is the Raiders, Solak explained. Geno Smith's recently signed contract extension is extremely front-loaded after the 2025 season. He will hit their cap for only $26. $5 million if he's retained in 2026, and he would represent only 18. $5 million in dead cap space if released. All of his 2027 money is unguaranteed. He got a 2-year deal that can easily become a 1-year deal if, say, a rookie quarterback outplays him in 2025. Las Vegas needs plenty of defensive help in this draft, but the offense is further along than people realize and could support a young quarterback. Sanders' existing relationship with Tom Brady, who is a minority owner of the team, should not be underestimated as a factor. The Raiders could land Shedeur Sanders over the past few weeks. Sanders' draft stock has dropped. Besides certain throwing mechanics, there's no clear reason why. However, Sanders presents a plethora of consistent talent. His accuracy is a major talent, as well as his elusiveness. He doesn't have the athleticism of a Cam Ward or even Jalen Milroe. Regardless of that, the Colorado football star will make the right play. It was either a rushed throw, a missed route, or something out of the ordinary. His football acumen shouldn't be questioned, as he elevated the Buffaloes out of mediocrity into being a legitimate program. At the end of the day, the countdown to the NFL draft gets closer and closer. Anything can happen to Sanders and where he will end up. However, if the Raiders can snag him at any opportunity, they will take that chance. Davante Adams points to specific roster move that led to him leaving Raiders heading into last season. There were many rumors about the Las Vegas Raiders trading star wide receiver Davante Adams, so when the news finally broke that he was getting sent to the New York Jets, it wasn't a huge surprise. What was surprising was the way he went out. Adams requested a trade from the team following a Week 4 win over the Cleveland Browns that brought the Raiders to 22. The star wide receiver has spoken a lot about the breakup, and it seemed like he would finally move on once he signed with the Los Angeles Rams this offseason. That wasn't the case. Adams decided to further explain why he didn't want to be a Raider anymore. Former Raiders quarterback and current New Orleans Saints quarterback Derek Carr was a big reason. "If I was Scooby-Doo," Adams told The Athletic's Mike Silver in a recent interview, "I would have went, like, you literally brought me here. You knew the reason why me going there for Derek, everybody in the world knew that. And then to be in a situation where now you just pull him from me after we had a very productive year, that was the first kind of confused moment that I had. And then things continued that next year, obviously what they decided to do, and some of the moves they decided to make on offense. And things continued the next year again. Initially, I was trying to feel good about it, more than actually what I was presented with, just the facts of who's the head coach, who's my receiver coach, who is the offensive coordinator, who's calling plays, what the defense looks like, all that stuff. Adams had already been souring on the Raiders, and the rocky start to last season didn't help things. Once we got to 2024, it was just a lot of the same, Adams added, and it was just clear to me that we weren't being set up to be put in a situation where we could really go and win at a convincing rate, and it was time for me to go. And now, Raiders fan, I want to hear from you. What's your opinion on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I don't know if you know this, but your opinion matters a lot for Raiders. I'll be back any moment with more Raider Nation news.